Thank you so much for being here, guys. I know it's a lovely day, and thank you for skipping the Siggy break. Everyone was tempted to go out with this sun. We'll be talking about, hold on a second, this is not working, guys. Sorry about that. I have a problem with this, guys, but it's okay. We're going to go back in a minute. So we're going to be talking about data today, and a subject that I think most of you as marketers, advertisers, publishers, or in-house teams, you have a problem. And we all know that 2024 is coming with something pretty bad, which is pretty much the end of cookies as we know them. We're going to be talking about data as a product today, which is pretty much a different approach of how to get out of this problem, and we really hope to give you ideas, tools, and a framework to get out of this problem and find out where's the synergies between your teams, your agencies, or any third parties that you work to just go through these problems. Thank you for the introduction, Baduhan. I still don't speak Turkish. I've been living in Turkey for 13 years, and I still don't speak Turkish. My name is Sotos. I'm the founder of Unboxed agency. This is usually my phase when I do analytics, because you have to be very optimistic, otherwise you're dead. I have been doing this job since 2004, and the only reason that I put my credentials down there is because I do this job by complete accident. My mom never thought I would do marketing. She had other plans for me, but it is okay. A few words about Unboxed agency. We started Unboxed agency in 2016. We actually started this business just to, as everyone out there, to do things different. But we found ourselves being also almost forced to do things different because we're pretty lucky to work with some of the biggest local brands. I have to apologize. I know there's some Getir people here. I wasn't allowed to use any other logo except Getir Araç Move. We worked with them when they were still Garanta. And that's important because we found ourselves always early in the stage where a company shows a potential, and we always do that through data. It's very easy to say that I did that when it happens, but it's very difficult to understand when it's actually not there, where there's completely black and nobody knows what is happening. So today, there are four main objectives for this presentation. It's a very difficult well, it's not such a difficult subject, but we want to focus on four main objectives because, first of all, we don't want you to get bored. Second, we want to give you an idea of where to start. Otherwise, we're going to be lost. So the first one is to introduce a framework of methodologies and components in order to take actions. We're going to be talking a little bit about data mesh. It's not the company, which is an RET company, it's something completely different. We'll be talking a little bit about CDPs and other Google technologies. We're going to zoom into two main components, which actually we think they're the most critical aspects, not only in marketing and advertising, but especially for what is coming in 2024. Tap into the industry response to what is happening because we're not in this game together. Thank God the industry has been very, very responsive in taking actions to take us out of this mess that actually they created, but there you go. Finally, as I said, hopefully we want to inspire you to work with your teams and everybody else to pretty much make more of your data. Now, I know that you've been much better speakers out there than me talking about AI. Thank you, Ece. Thank you, Sertar. Thank you, Sertan, earlier on. I'm going to promise you, if I say AI more than 3 times, you can shoot me and I'm going to be out of here. The reason we don't want to talk about AI because it's something that, let's be honest, we're still learning. So we're not experts in that field. Now, usually, let me just go. Usually when we have to talk about analytics, everybody told me that I have to start with a joke. The problem is that you have to start with a joke because after that is all downhill. So I tried to call a few friends to tell me a few jokes. Nothing pretty much happened. So we said, okay, let's go with the basics, infographics. So we did a little bit of research just to see what 2024 is bringing. And out of all the numbers we picked up, probably the most important. And that is that by 2023, 6.8 billion users have, actually these are unique people that have a smartphone. So we said, okay, and how can we use it? So we started digging a little bit deeper into the analytics, and we just found actually some very, very incredible numbers. That is that only 4.6 billion people in the world have access to toilets. And you see where I'm going with that. It's all downhill. Now, the problem is like, what do we do with this data? Okay, we have smart devices, we have AI, we have everything. So what did we do with this data? So I think you pretty much found yourselves over there. You run a campaign. That thing was gone, I don't know why. Hyperlocal geofencing. So you have the devices, you know how many toilets there are, and you pretty much run a campaign. You call your agency, you tell them to spend whatever they want to spend, frequency, put whatever you want, objectives are there, and you keep it running. Of course, you understand this is a joke, this is not what's happening, but here's the thing, these guys look really, really focused, right? So somebody thinks that, okay, this has worked. So the question is, how do we use data to take actions? How do we go from 6.8 billion devices and how many people having access to toilets to take this action? There's one reason and one reason only, and this is the one thing that it will be driving 2024, that for over 25 years, we're trying to do one thing and only, to connect all the data, to find the single source of truth, to find the single identity, the holy grail of marketing. And I'm pretty sure that if nobody has tried it before, you're all liars. So raise your hand if you've been trying to do that for the last, I don't know how many years. Nobody, seriously? You guys are lying, but it's okay. So what is the problem with building a single customer view? There's no problem with that. We all want to be able to actually give to our clients, users, whoever you're going to go, the best experience ever. Whether this is personalization, whether this is advertising, we just want to make sure that they get the best they can. But it is a matter of approach. It's not what we're doing, it's how we're doing it. And the problem is centralization. Take the big tech, in order, I mean, the moment you log into your Google account or your Facebook account, they know pretty much everything. That's okay. I'm not interested about ethical things and what they get. It's up to us that we give them the consent to do. But the problem is that in order for something to happen, all the data has to go to one place. So I have a friend who used to tell me that we know what our clients are doing on every side of the swimming pool, but we can still not deliver advertising. So why this happened? The reason it happened that for the last, 2-3 years, incredible things have happened in this sector, and we have all been part of it, both as consumers and as advertisers and as marketers. So we have privacy consent. In Turkey, it's the same cookie consent, all the problems that we have with information that we give to the users. Identity balkanization. This is a big topic for 2024, which is about walled gardens. This is how all the big tech is using the data in order to actually protect, first of all, their own interest and deliver their own ads. There is incredible operational complexity. We think the tools are going to save us. The moment you start using a tool, in 3 days, either you leave it back or you have to try something else, and you spend more time using tools rather than actually getting value out of them. And of course, it's the death of the third-party cookies as one, which is pretty much the main subject that we're going to be discussing today, and hopefully we're going to show you ways to take you out of it. So where do we go from here? We identify the problem, and the problem is centralization. So the only way out is actually to think outwards. It's to decentralize. So what we're going to be talking today is about a methodology which is data mesh. As I said, data mesh is a methodology. It's not a tool. It's not something that you can buy. It's not something that you can install. It's a methodology that can take us out of this way, and it's based on 4 main principles. First one is data ownership. Data ownership is about teams owning their own data. If you're a sales team, marketing, customer support team, it is your responsibility to own this data and provide value with this data to everybody in the organization. The second, which is actually also the title of the presentation and today's topic, is data as a product. Now, data as a product is something that you have to apply principles of proper product development and design thinking. You don't have to use your data as such, but you have to utilize your data to provide to other people value. You need to consider your data as a product so other people can use it. So every team in the organization is actually a consumer. Not somebody that just reads data in a static way, but somebody who's utilizing this data to provide values. Data platform is the third pillar, which is about not reporting, but the ability to send in real-time information to every team that wants this information. So if you want to know your sales, or if you want to know how much money you're spending in advertising, this information should be available to everyone. And the fourth, of course, is about governance. Who takes the decision for this data to be used? How are they going to be used? What is the framework until we're working? Now, on the other side, you can see that technology is the very end. This is not a technical guideline. This is about culture that needs to be built into the company in order to actually understand how data is working. So with the main focus on the data as a product, I just want to give some examples. This might look a little bit abstract to you, but we have some very, very simple examples. Here's a very nice watch. There's a price on it. I hope this is still the price with this inflation. It might have changed already. But anyway, this is actually product data. It can be color, it can be price, it can be anything. But this same phone has actually an application, a fitness application. This is a data product. It utilizes data that it takes from you when you move or from everywhere else to provide utilization to you. But it can also talk to a location API, so when you go to the gym or any other area, understand who you are and what you do. That's data as a product. It's a very recursive terminology, and if you're not familiar with recursion, the only way to understand recursion is to understand recursion. It's very simple as that. So data as a product is something that makes your data available to everybody in the organization to be used and provide, create more data and information. So some names probably you should be taking away. Jean-Marc Degani is actually not the founder because this is not a product, but the person who actually coined the term data mesh. And data mesh is nothing else actually about applying design thinking into data in a way that can be used by everyone, in a way that can be effective, they can be real, and can be trusted by everybody in the organization. So, with design thinking and with data as a product in mind, we're going to talk about two main components that we said that will take us out of this problem. And that is nothing else than identity and activation. So what is identity? We all know what identity is. I don't see hands, but it's okay. So we have many identifiers out there. We have offline identifiers. I don't like the term offline. I mean, your phone is not offline. You're here right now, so that's not offline. You're always connected. So it can be your name, your surname, or anything like that. You're going to be online identifiers from your browsing history. So this is what makes you a unique identity. Is this right or is it wrong? We don't know. It can be deterministic. I'm Sotos, so it's me. But it can also be completely probabilistic. My team is using my LinkedIn account and Facebook account, so every day I'm somebody else. So the idea is to combine all those to create what we call identity resolution. And identity resolution is the one thing that is completely different to taking us out of this problem. It's not about centralized data, but it's about identifying the one real property that can provide value. So, to do that, we need to understand how identities work. So, we have many types of, as I said, we have deterministic and known identities. That could be, as I said, your phone. That could be a single sign-on, like your Google or Facebook account, which is actually very accurate, but it's not it cannot be used on large scales. So you can send SMSs, push notifications at a small scale. The second one is what we use the most, which are all probabilistic. This is what we use every day as advertisers. It's the most actionable ones. But then again, they don't have all the quality that deterministic identifiers have. Finally, contextual data, which is pretty much everything we use in audience builders nowadays, completely unknown but super scalable, which is similar to the advertising that I showed you before in the toilet. So, how do we use those? Don't worry about that, it's nothing complex. This is pretty much what most of us do as advertisers every day. On the left-hand side, you have all your information from advertising, website, mobile applications, and in the middle is where your data actually comes. This data can go to data engineers, to back office systems, it doesn't really matter. You create information and you have an audience that you can activate. So Sotos came, he bought something, I'll send him an SMS, a notification, are you happy or not? So that's pretty much your customer data warehouse. We have new names for those nowadays. You're all familiar with CDPs. We're not here to sell CDPs, by the way, guys. We don't sell any products, because I just want to make that sure. But CDPs are becoming very popular and sexy because DMPs have died, and everybody's trying to get their hands on new technologies. So this is pretty much the process of us creating identifiers. So you can actually, as I said, create an out-of-the-shelf solution. There are many out there, local ones like Insider. We're not selling anything, I'm saying that. Bloomreach, doesn't really matter, so I can throw some other names. Or you can build it yourself. So the question is, why would I build it myself? Why should I do something so difficult? The only thing you need to think, and the only answer is, what do I want to achieve? Can I apply, or does my solution apply data as a product thinking? Does it follow the data mesh framework? If it does not, then you need to find another solution, because you will end up in 3 years from now, we're going to be talking about the same thing, how to get ourselves out of the same mess, not the mesh. So here are the two components that we discussed. So how we can take actions in order to make sure that our system, whether it's something we buy out of the shelf or something that we build ourselves, is going to be working. So identity resolution. As I said, this is my name. This is my email address. I have many of them. So you see that there's already a problem. All of us are using different. You have your work email, you have your personal email, you have somebody maybe else who's managing your profile. So you start building different profiles. All those little dots here are identities. So the number one thing that we have to achieve is identity resolution. How can we feed this data into a system that can very easily understand that this is the same person? This is still Sotos. I know that Sotos is using many different IDs, but all this data need to go into a system where this is a out-of-the-shelf, as I said, CDP, or a database that you use yourself, and make sure that you can unify this data and understand I'm a unique person. After that, the rest is easy. You know who I am, you know how to activate your data, and you can have data which is mobile data, it can be data that is website data, or anything you need to activate. The decision should be based only on that, not on doing anything that we want, but if the data is accurate, only then I can activate them. So why, by the way, if you're not familiar with technical terms, ETL is extract, transform, load, is a standard process of capturing data. Reverse ETL is pretty much what we call activation. So the technical term is reverse ETL. We take the data, now we have to deconstruct them in order to activate them to our channels. Now, why is it crucial? Because without that, all we have is a reporting tool. We have all the data, we know what happened, but when the time comes to target those guys in the toilet before, things break. If we don't have proper identifiers, if we don't have proper information and a system to activate, then all we have is pretty much a reporting tool. Can I build this myself? Again, only one principle. Do I have to build it because I just want to spend time and resources? No. I'm going to build it only if it follows the same framework and the same principles of data as a product. It needs to be something that can be used by others and not only by reporting teams. Two very, very simple examples right now that all of you are using. Who is familiar with Facebook copy and enhanced conversion? There you go, many people. I mean, both of those examples are very, very familiar use cases towards that direction. I'm going to run out of time, but it's okay. So these are two starting points that you should all start working. You don't have to go to anything difficult. The important is not to create something huge and complex, but to create something very, very simple that can be used. And the process, again, is something that only your internal teams and your organization can decide. So you can identify a problem. I cannot send SMS messages to the people that buy coffee or come to our concerts. So create a use case over there. Unlock this information and build a very, very small prototype that can be used by everyone. It doesn't have to be anything complex. And once you start using it, embed it in the process. By embedding, we mean make that information available to everyone so they can take decisions, take actions, and use the same principle data as a product. That information is not there to tell them what is happening, but that information is there for them to create more value. And the last stage, of course, is the evolution of this process. It's an iteration that never stops. A product creates a product and another product. So altogether they create a data mesh. So I'm out of time. I'm just going to get 2 more minutes. The good news, of course, is that we're not alone in this whole process. The industry itself that has created the problem also is taking all the necessary steps to take us out of this mess. So a few things that you probably have heard of. What is important to understand is like how they can be used, if they're available to everyone, and what are the main points. So Chrome, which is pretty much one of the biggest market share browsers in the world, they have launched the privacy sandbox. The strength is that it's very secure, but not everybody is using Chrome. Right now we have 65% around the world. That means you cannot solve all your problems. Cohorts, it's another solution from Google, which is pretty much about audiences, but it's not very fully adapted at the moment, but it's something which is also work in progress. We're all familiar with mobile IDs, much stronger in privacy, but we all know the problems. You have to run different iOS, different Android teams and campaigns in order to actually address the same need, so it can be costly. Walled gardens is what I mentioned before, and I think that we can also take local examples like Hepsi Buradan, Neon Beer, Trendyol, all the big ones that actually try to create similar solutions as publishers that we as advertisers that we can use. Completely platform agnostic, they can be used across the board, but the data portability again is very, very limited. Different users for mobile and different users for desktops. I'm going to skip that because we're pretty much going out of time. Last, but very, very important, contextual rebirth. This is something that we all as marketers grew up with. Content is the king. SEO is dying. It will never die simply because we have the same problem. So publishers are trying to create new frameworks where contextual advertising is raising up, thanks to programmatic advertising, of course, and native advertising. So some very, very quick takeaways from this, and sorry if I went a little bit technical. First of all, you're not alone in this, but you need to act soon, otherwise you're going to be left alone at the end of 2024. Try to apply data as a product principles everywhere. Data is there to be consumed, not just to be reported. Apply design thinking in pretty much everything in your analytics and data teams. Experiment with durability. I show you the responses from the industry. Try to see which one is actually good for you. It doesn't have to be one solution. There's no such thing anymore that one solution fits everyone, and each one of us has to work with something else. Consider excellence not just as a cheesy thing, but because we're going to fail anyway. If we don't aim high, we're going to fail. The publishers have failed because they never thought about excellence. The whole industry has not thought about excellence, so we're in the mess that we want. And talk to people that share the same pain with you. It could be your colleagues, it could be an agency, it could be anybody else there. Thank you so much, guys, and sorry for keeping you longer. My name is Sotos. I will be very, very happy to connect later on and answer any questions you might have. Thank you.